Hey folks, it's Mr. Carter here, ready to help you with Fluency and Skills Practice, Lesson 31.1. So go ahead and put your name on this if you haven't yet already, and let's begin. All right, so today we are practicing how to use a protractor. So the directions say, use a protractor to measure the marked angle in each shape. Write the measure of each angle. So obviously for tonight's homework, you're going to need a protractor that looks like this, obviously. It's a protractor. And we're going to use these to help us measure the angles. So the first thing you need to do is put your vertex of your angle. So here's the angle we're trying to measure here, angle A. And you want to put your vertex, so this is your vertex, in the center of the bottom part of your protractor. And you can see here that there's a line, and that's usually on every protractor, there's a little line. So you want to line up that line with your vertex. And then you want to make sure that the bottom part of your protractor is lined up with one of the rays of the angle. So you can't like measure the angle, like this, because the protractor isn't lined up with the bottom ray here at this angle. So you want to do two things. One, again, put that line right on the vertex, and you want to line up your protractor like that. And then we're going to use this part here to help us measure the angle. Now you can see here that the lines of this angle aren't long enough. It doesn't go up here, so we can't really tell how long it is. So what you need to do then is to take this part of the protractor, the straight edge, and you want to extend that ray like so, and then extend it this way as well, again using the straight edge. So that'll make your rays long enough for them to be measured. So again, lining up my center with the vertex and lining up the bottom part here with that line here. So now you can kind of see, oh, and I'm all blurry, sorry about that. Okay. So now again, your vertex is at the line and your protractor is here. Now, because we extended the ray, you can see where the line ends up. Okay, so now we're here and we have two different sets of numbers here. We have 140, 130, and then we have, you can't really see because of the directions here, but this is 50 and this is 40, right? But we got to decide, like, okay, are we using the top numbers, the 130 and the 140, or are we using the bottom numbers, the 50 and the 40? Well, to decide that, you got to just take a look at your angle and decide, okay, is it greater than or less than a 90-degree angle? And that'll tell you, right? So I use, again, a Post-it note to put on where the angle is. And you can see that this here would be 90 degrees, and our angle is not quite past the paper. And this paper would be 90 degrees. So again, the angle was from about here to there. So this angle then is less than 90 degrees. So again, lining up your protractor. All right, and deciding what numbers we're going to use, either 130, 140, or 40 and 50. Well, we're going to use these bottom numbers here because it is less than 90 degrees. So we would say, okay, so this is 40, and then it's about in between. It's right at this 5, right? So 45 degrees would be the answer here to what that angle is, 45 degrees. All right, let's do number 2. So now we're doing angle B, going this way. And again, if you put your vertex now is over here. So if you line up your vertex and you line up your protractor, this is where we're going to go. This is where we're going to put our protractor. Again, as you can see, the rays are not long enough to reach up here. So we're going to extend our rays so that we can read the measurement. Going to go this way. And yeah, okay, your homework will have all these marks on it, but that's okay. That's what we need to do to measure these protractors. Measure these angles with the protractor. So again, we're lining up the vertex with our middle line of the protractor. We're lining up the bottom ray here. And now, again, as you can see, it's between 110 120 or between 70 and 60. So now again, we need to look at the angle and decide, is it an angle that's greater than 90 degrees or less than 90 degrees? So if I put my Post-it note here, like so. So here would be 90 degrees. And as you can see, our angle goes past the Post-it, right? So that means it's greater than 90 degrees. Oh, we're not, still blurry. Sorry about that. Okay, so again, this is a 90-degree angle. And as you can see, our angle B here is larger than that. So now we're going to put our protractor back, and that'll help us decide how big our angle is. So again, I'm lining up the middle, and I'm putting the protractor on the edge here. And as you can see, it's 100. It's going to be either 100, somewhere between 110 and 120. And as you can see, it's right in between. So 110, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It lands right on that big line, which you know is like halfway between 110 and 120. So that means that this is 115 degrees. I'm going to do one more with you, and then you're going to do the rest together on your own to see how you do with that. So now we have angle C. Again, our vertex is here. I'm going to put our protractor on. And again, as you can see, our rays are not long enough. So I'm just going to extend them. Going this way. And going this way. And the only reason why I'm doing that is so that the lines are long enough to be measured on the protractor. So again, lining up your vertex with that line, putting it here. All right. And as you can see, it lines up pretty nicely. It's either going to be 60 or 120. So again, you look at the angle and decide, is it larger or smaller than 90 degrees? So I'm going to put my Post-it on the vertex here. And again, this would be 90 degrees, and our angle is shorter than that because the angle is right here and right here. So this is smaller than 90-degree angle. So again, now that we know it's smaller than a 90-degree angle, we can decide which number we're going to use. And we're going to use the 60, not the 120. So this one is 60 degrees. Okay, so I want you right now to take your protractor, go ahead and work on 4, 5, and 6 on your own, see how you do with those, and now we'll come back and we'll talk about those in a minute. All right, welcome back. So for number 4, the measurement was 25 degrees, and I'll show you on the protractor. Again, lining up the middle with your vertex and this part here with the bottom line. So yeah, it's about 25 degrees, and you can see that right here. Number 5 was 125 degrees. And again, centering that protractor. And you could see, oh, and I didn't draw my ray long enough. Let me draw it longer. Okay. So now you can see that it's 125. Sorry for it going blurry. So we have 125, and I know that I chose the top numbers because when you're looking at it, it's greater than 90 degrees. And this one's really close to 90 degrees. It's actually 85. And so again, lining that up. All right, you could see that it goes right between 90 and the 80 here. It's smaller than a 90-degree angle, so it's 85 degrees. All right, on the back, yes, there was a back. So it says, without using a protractor, estimate if the measure of this angle is greater than or less than 90. And again, it's greater than 90 degrees because when you put a corner of a Post-it on the angle, you could see that this here would be 90 degrees and the angle goes past it. So again, when I put a corner of the Post-it note, the vertex, the angle goes past the corner. And for number 8, it says, explain how you can use benchmarks to verify the measure of the angle in problem 6. Well, it says I can use the benchmark of 90 to measure the angle in problem 6, and that was this problem here. That was super close. And the angle is about the same size as a 90-degree angle. When you look at it, it looks really close to that perfect corner. So I know that the correct measurement will be about 90. Okay, and I should put will be about 90 degrees. All right, friends, hope this was helpful. If you have questions, reach out to your teacher. Take care.